These are common mistakes beginners face whenever they are making beaded bag. Do not repeat this kind of mistake, especially in this kind of bag. In this video, I'm going to show you how I overcame this so you will not go through what I went through. Hey boo, it's me again and welcome back to my channel. Guess what I'm making today? Yeah, this kind of plush purse. Like, I've had this for a very long time and anytime I make it, I always fail. I make it and I fail. I failed several times, and today I decided to take the bull by the horn. That's how they say it, right? Yeah. So I've seen several videos on how to make this. So they said you have to put it one and on the third hole. So I started off by putting the thread by the in the first hole and the third hole. Then I added my bead. While I was making this bag, girls, my fingers were crossed. Like, I was hoping not to make the mistake I made before again, because this kind of bag, this is my first time making it, and it was really hard. But because I always want to challenge myself, I decided to continue with it. So after that, I added my third bead and then use it to cross over. Then the thread by the left hand side of the bead, put it inside the same hole that the other thread came out from. The same thread came out from, okay? And then that is how I did it. And next thing I did was I put it in the third hole. You have to, leave one hole and then put in the other one. You understand? You always have to leave one and then put in the next, okay? And that way there will be space for you. So that is how I continue, girls. And if you watch closely, then if you're trying to make the same bag I'm making, you have to, watch closely, okay? Then the same thread, put it inside same hole. Take a closer look. Put it inside same hole and then drag it. Voila, this is what we are going with, okay? So the thread under, put it inside the next hole, like after, just leave one and put it inside the next one, just like that. And that is how you are going to make the foundation, because this is the foundation. This one is not the trouble, oh. Like, this one is not the difficult part. The difficult part is coming, okay? Just stay with me and see how I struggle through making this bag. And the mistake I made, I'm going to tell you guys the mistake I made and then how to avoid those problems, okay? This some others cannot tell you about, but if you continue to watch, then you understand what I'm doing and how I avoided the problem, so you will not go through the same thing I went through. And this is how I will continue until I finish the whole foundation, okay? And I forgot to mention, the bead I'm using is 8mm and it's the square bead, okay? Which is where the problem is, because you can see that the cover, that clip is curved. So mainly you're supposed to use a round bead, but I decided to use the square shaped bead. I don't know why. I think it's because it's the only one I have for now. So that is why I used it, and it was okay for me. I always prefer to use the square shaped bead because it's always sturdy, like it's not always floppy like the round beads, okay? Now we are going to repeat the same process, but this time on the bead, okay? Just watch closely on what I was doing and then you can follow along with me. So I had to make it to be second, like double layer on top, not just one layer. Some people can go with one layer, and I think if you use one layer it would have been better. If I had used one layer it would have been better, but that's the lesson I'm trying to teach beginners like me, if this is your first time making this kind of bag, starting with one layer will be okay. Then when you try making the under, that is when you start, you add more, you know. I don't know if you get what I'm saying, but before the end of the clip, if you continue with the video, you understand clearly what I'm trying to express here. Okay. So here you might be thinking, when you're making the second layer, you might be thinking, oh, it's not straight, it's not smooth, it's crooked and stuff. It's normal. Believe me, it's normal, because I was like, after making this layer, I had to lose it and start again, because I'm trying to make it to be straight, but normally it was supposed to be crooked. It was not supposed to look smooth, or it was not supposed to be straight. So don't go and start blaming yourself or trying to make it to look straight. It was supposed to look the way it is looking. Like, it was not supposed to be that straight. Okay, as you can see, it was crooked. Like, at this period I was worried though, but I had to continue. Trust your instincts and continue. Don't worry about it being crooked, and don't worry about it not being straight. Okay, you enjoy it later. So when I was done with that one, I decided to set it aside, and then let me make the layer. Okay, here is like a normal beading process. I just added my 4 bead and then use the 4th one to cross over. Okay, quick lesson here, because this is where the mistake starts. Like, if you're making this kind of bag, the layer is where the mistake starts. Okay, you might be wondering, like, how do you know the length you are going for, the height, like the width you're going for? How do you know? This is in this place. I'm going to explain it for you, so you won't be troubled like I was. Like, this part was the place that made me regret making this bag in the beginning. Like, I almost gave up and then threw away the cover and then used the bead for another bag, but I continued. So you don't have to go through the same trouble I went through. I'll explain everything to you. Okay? So let's do the maths together. The width is 4 on each curve. So 4 plus 4 plus 1 is 9. So all you're going to do is make it 9. And then once it's 9, then you continue. We'll talk about the length later. So for my own length, it was 15. How do I get that? I have to count the bead until it was 15. That was how I got my own length. Okay, but at first I made the mistake of forgetting that the base I was making now and the cover are not supposed to be the same size. Like, it's the same amount of length and width, but when you're making the base, you'll be thinking, oh, the base is bigger, the base is longer. Like, is not the same, which is the mistake there. You don't have to make them to be equal in size. As long as the number matches, the number from your base and the number from your cover matches the beads, then it's okay. Like you can see now, it couldn't fit inside. I have to put it outside. That was where my worry started. I was thinking, why couldn't they fit inside? Am I making the wrong choice? Okay, take a look here. You can see now I tried to make it to be equal. That was my mistake, thinking this is the right thing to make, and then I continue making the height. Now I'm making the block to start my own height. The mistake I made here was I should have continued to make my own length be 15, but because I was thinking they are supposed to be equal in size, not counting the bead on the base and the bead on the cover, I was thinking, oh, they are supposed to be equal. So here I think my length here is 13 instead of 15. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say here. Like the length here is 13, meaning I missed 2. I need to add 2 to equal the length in that cover. Okay, but because as a beginner I was thinking, no, why would the base be bigger than the cover itself? So that was my biggest regret, because I had to start losing. When I found out my mistake, I had to lose all these things. The wall I'm building now, I have to lose all this wall for me to reach 15. So here I think I've lost it, and now I'm trying to make sure it fits. So if you're taking a closer look, you can see that there are space on the, like in the base there are still space, and me trying to figure out, would this fit, is this the right thing? But then since it's 15 and it equals the bead on the cover, I continued. Okay, so don't worry when you think the base is longer or bigger than the cover. Don't worry, that's how it was supposed to be. So that was the mistake I made at first, and I had to learn the hard way, because I had to start losing up all the beads for me to start again. So do not make this mistake I made here. Okay, you can see the cover is practically smaller than the base, so I'm trying to make sure everything fits. I keep counting and counting to make sure that it fits, and this is how I continued. Okay, so don't worry about the base being bigger than the cover. It was supposed to be like that. You can see I was trying to make sure that everything fits. So I'm counting and counting to be sure. I don't want to repeat the mistake, because at this point I was like, if there is any other mistake, I'm just going to give up. I won't continue again. So that was how it went by. The next thing I had to do was to make my height fit. Like I need the height to be, I don't know how long it was, but as long as it has reached the desired height I want, I just tied up everything. And so you can see I'm using my finger to measure it, and this is the height I want it to be. I think I didn't add any more layers again. This was the height I needed. So now the last thing I did was just to tie my beads, putting my beads to tie it up, then to continue the next part, which is joining them together. So when I was joining this together, my heart was beating, like I hope I didn't make another mistake, so I won't get to lose all these things again. I don't want to start from the beginning, because this was really troublesome. You know, it was as if when you're working and you think your brain is no longer working, you count and count. Okay, so as you can see here, the next thing for me to do is to put them together, finger crossed. Okay, so that will be our next step. So how I did this part was, remember the curve line is 4 and then we added 1 extra. So just put it, count your curve line and see. You see, I started in the middle. As you can see, that is how we started this curve. Gosh, this was really hard for me, but you see, at least it was, after making it, I was like, God, I finally did it. And I plan on making this kind of bag again because I overcame my difficulties, and I was like, I can do it again, even much better. So this is my first attempt. I plan on making another video, a smooth video on how to make this. Like, it can equally be a step-by-step tutorial on how to make it, because as of this point I don't think this particular video is a tutorial anymore, because this should be a beginner's first attempt to make a clutch bag. Okay, so I guess I'm going to make a step-by-step tutorial, because after I figured out the mistakes, after I figured out the problem, I was so happy. At this point, we are about to here, just take a very closer look at what I did here, so you cannot make any mistake. Okay, I don't know, just look at what I did here. I added 2 beads in this part, so that was it, and then put it in the other line, and then you continue. You see how it fits? I'm so proud of myself. I'm so proud of myself for doing this, and I'm happy. Okay, just look at it. It's coming back now. It's looking like a jar. You can see that the base is actually bigger, even though they are the same. They have the same bead and all, but the base is actually bigger than the cover, which is actually what it was about to be. Like, this is how it was meant to be. Okay, so at this point I was like, I did it. Electra, you did it, so no need to worry. If I was able to do it, you can do it. Okay, so as we did it like this is how it is. This is how it was supposed to be. Don't worry about any problem here, because the bag is already done. Like, it's already fit. So you only need 1 or 2 touches to make it what it is meant to be. Okay, so now this is how it's looking. And then to cover it, to bring out the final look, you see, as I'm pushing in the beads, like, push it in, so in that way you can be able to cover it. Yeah, just push it in as you can for it to fit and for it to be able to cover without any problem, just like that. As you can see, we are not done yet. You see, there are some space there. Just push them in. Yeah, make sure it's pushed in very well. So don't worry, you can be able to open it. You see, this is it. Wow, yeah, I did it. I did it. And I'm putting the handle now. So this is it. Just take a look at it. Take a look at it.